Most people believe your 20s decide your entire financial future. They're wrong. One ordinary decade later in life quietly decides whether you retire with freedom or with fear, and almost nobody notices it happening until it's already too late to change course. Two women worked at the same hospital for almost 30 years, starting as nurses on the same floor in the same week, both 26 years old. They earned nearly identical salaries their entire careers, married in their late 20s, had 2 children each, and bought homes only a few streets apart. At 40, their lives looked like mirror images of each other. But when they retired at 67, one of them had just over $1.6 million saved, owned her home outright, and spent her first year of retirement traveling to 4 countries. The other had $94,000 in savings, still owed 11 years on her mortgage, and had to keep working weekend shifts just to cover her health insurance. Same paycheck, same house price, same number of children. Completely different outcomes. When people hear a story like this, they usually assume there's a hidden explanation, an inheritance, a lucky stock pick, a wealthy spouse somewhere in the background. But when you actually trace both women's financial lives year by year, there was no inheritance, no lucky stock pick, no hidden secret. The entire gap was created during a single 10-year window that neither woman even noticed at the time, their 40s. Not their 20s, when they were too broke to matter much. Not their 50s, when the pattern was already locked in place. Their 40s, a decade so ordinary that every decision inside it felt small and reversible, right up until it wasn't. Here is why this particular decade carries so much more weight than any other. 3 forces move through your financial life at different speeds. Your income, which usually peaks somewhere in your 40s or early 50s. Your remaining time to invest, which only ever shrinks and shrinks faster than most people realize. And your fixed cost of living, which often finally stabilizes once children grow more independent. There is exactly 1 decade where all 3 forces line up in your favor at once. Higher income, meaningful years left for compounding, and expenses that have a real chance to level off. That decade is your 40s. Miss it, and no amount of frantic saving in your 50s can fully make up the difference, because the math simply won't allow it. $1 invested at 40 grows to roughly $7 by 65. Wait until 50, and that same dollar only reaches about $3. Wait until 55, and it barely doubles. The dollar never changed, only the number of years it had to compound did. Someone earning around $100,000 a year, who saves 15% consistently from 40 to 65, can retire with roughly $1.3 million. Save only 5% through the 40s, then scramble to 15% in the 50s. And the same person retires with around $750,000, over $500,000 less, created by a single decade. Now, the decisions that actually build this gap. The first is housing. Somewhere in your 40s comes the pull to upgrade, bigger rooms, a nicer neighborhood, a home that reflects your success. But raise your monthly housing cost by even $1,500 and redirect that same amount away from investing for 25 years, and you have quietly given up somewhere between $800,000 and $1.2 million in future wealth. The second is vehicles, where trading modest cars for luxury ones, factoring in loans, insurance, and depreciation, can cost a family $200,000 to $400,000 over time. The third is career risk. Many people grow cautious exactly when a calculated risk could pay off the most. A new role, a bigger opportunity, a strategic jump. Because by your 50s, hiring bias quietly narrows your options. Someone who takes that risk at 43 still has 20 years to recover if it doesn't work out perfectly. Someone who waits until 53 rarely has that same runway. The fourth is simple comparison. Matching your spending to colleagues and neighbors instead of your own values. A gap that alone routinely exceeds $1 million over a lifetime. But none of those four decisions is actually the most dangerous one. There's a fifth decision people rarely name, and it's the one that can undo everything else in a matter of months, which is health and insurance. Your 40s are usually the first decade where your body starts sending small warning signals. And this is exactly the decade where preventive care, proper term life insurance, and disability coverage matter most, because you now have more income and more family depending on you than ever before. A chronic condition caught early is a minor expense. Ignored for another decade, it becomes a major one, arriving at the exact moment you're already trying to catch up on savings. One uninsured emergency or one uncovered period without income can undo 10 years of careful saving in a matter of months, which is why the people who protect themselves quietly in these unglamorous ways rarely face the sudden setback that forces them to raid their retirement accounts early. Picture Daniel and Priya. At 40, they had $190,000 saved, a modest home, and 2 kids. They upgraded their house, their cars, funded expensive tutoring, and an out-of-state university with loans, all while quietly cutting their retirement contributions from 16% to 7%. Nothing felt reckless in the moment. By 50, their savings had grown only $55,000 in an entire decade. By 65, after years of frantic catch-up saving, they had $700,000 with real risk of running out of money in their 80s. Now picture Marcus and Elena, starting from almost the same numbers. They stayed in their existing home, bought a reliable used car instead of new, sent their kids to state schools with scholarships, and kept investing that same $1,500 a month instead of spending it. By 50, they had $590,000. By 65, $1.7 million, house paid off, retiring completely free of financial worry. Both couples felt equally satisfied during their actual 40s, because lifestyle upgrades only boost happiness for about 18 months before becoming the new normal. Daniel and Priya didn't enjoy their decade more. They just spent more to feel the same, while quietly giving up decades of future freedom. It's worth saying clearly that this decade can also work powerfully in your favor even if you're starting behind. Tasha, a single mother, reached 40 with only $11,000 saved, raising 2 kids alone on a modest income. She didn't overhaul everything overnight. She canceled unused subscriptions, downgraded her car at her next natural chance, picked up occasional weekend shifts for a while, and slowly raised her contribution rate 1% at a time. By 50, she had grown that $11,000 into almost $200,000. By 65, she had built a genuinely comfortable retirement, proof that consistency matters more than your starting point. So what do you actually do with all of this? Know your real numbers, your net worth, your true savings rate, and where your current path actually leads by retirement, because you can't fix a course you refuse to look at honestly. Automate your progress so every raise increases your contribution before it ever feels like spending money. Before any major purchase, calculate its true long-term cost, not just the monthly payment. Talk to your partner about money regularly, not only during a crisis. And protect your health and income with the same seriousness you protect your investments, because none of the growth matters if an emergency forces you to withdraw it early. If you're in your 20s or 30s, Build automatic habits now. Contributions that rise with every raise before the extra income ever feels like spending money. If you're standing inside your 40s right now, audit every major expense honestly. Is your home actually the right size or a status symbol? Is your car transportation or an emotional purchase? Are you funding your future before funding your image? If you're in your late 40s and recognizing this story a little too closely, there's still time to shift course, even if the window has narrowed. Downsizing now on your own terms, selling what you don't need, chasing a better paying opportunity while you still can. And if you're already past this decade with savings that feel behind, focus on what remains in your control. Delaying retirement benefits, working a little longer, freeing up equity from a home that's grown too large for your needs. It also helps to notice how much of the pressure during this decade comes from comparison rather than genuine need. Your 40s are the first decade where real income differences between people become visible for the first time. Some people genuinely can afford more than you can, and that makes the comparison feel convincing. But you never see the full picture behind anyone else's spending. The renovated kitchen without the reduced retirement contribution behind it. The new car without the 6-year loan stretched to make it affordable. The vacation photos without the credit card balance that followed. Comparing your complete financial life to someone else's highlight reel is one of the most reliable ways to make a decision that feels reasonable today and proves expensive decades later. The people who navigate this decade best aren't the highest earners or the most sophisticated investors. They're simply the ones who defined, clearly and early, what enough actually looks like for their own life so that rising income becomes fuel for freedom instead of fuel for comparison. Underneath all of this sits one honest question. The upgraded house feels exciting for a year. Then it's just your house, permanently limiting how much you can invest every month for the rest of your life. The luxury car feels thrilling for a season. Then it's just your car, quietly narrowing your future options. Real satisfaction doesn't come from consuming your peak earning years as fast as they arrive. It comes from converting them into permanent freedom. The discomfort of staying disciplined through your 40s lasts about 10 years. The reward lasts 30 or more. The pleasure of indulgence lasts 2 or 3 years. The consequence can last just as long as the reward would have. None of this means living joylessly or refusing to ever enjoy the money you've worked hard for. It means choosing your enjoyment on purpose, a trip that genuinely matters to you, a hobby you truly love, a home that fits your actual life rather than one chosen mainly to impress people you don't particularly care about. Instead of letting your spending rise automatically to match every dollar your income rises, without ever really deciding it was worth its long-term price. Picture yourself at 70, sitting quietly on a porch. In one version, you're planning which grandchild to visit this month, relaxed because nothing small could ever seriously threaten your stability. In the other, you're doing quiet math on whether this month's check covers your medication. Both versions of that person made their defining choices decades earlier, during a decade that felt too ordinary to matter. Which one you become depends almost entirely on what you do with the years still ahead of you. Not on luck, not purely on income, but on quiet, repeatable decisions about housing, vehicles, career, and comparison that compound exactly the way money does. This decade will pass either way. The only real question is which version of your future self you're building right now, today, with your very next decision. If this resonated with you, subscribe to Cashflow Invests so you never miss the next video.